Wait, why is this not working? Yeah, sorry about that. I was just not picking up on my headphones. There we go. Um, this is the Wisdom Matrix. This video is about something that I've been doing unconsciously for a while without really realizing. It's how I've come up with some of the things that I've found. It's called contemplation. There's a video from a channel called actualize.org. I always shout this channel out because he has a bunch of good videos on that channel. But there's a couple of videos about contemplation. One is, how to contemplate using a journal, and one of them is called how to contemplate like a sage or something like that. I forget exactly what it's called, but I'm not going to go into too much detail with that one necessarily, but I'm going to expand upon some of the things that I've talked about before with, whenever you have an emotion or whatever it might be, to ask the question, what is causing this, or what is it, so what is contemplation? So basically, contemplation is where you ask, a question like that, like, what is this? What is causing this? What is causing that? Basically, you just ask this question, and you try and find the answer experientially, or with your mind or whatever. This is not like it's not speculating or anything like that. It's like, say you're asking, like, why do I get angry or something like that. You can do it with like emotions, or like I'd recommend you start with something simple like emotions or something like that. I mean, I do it with way more complicated things, but to start with, you might want to start with something simple, like emotions. So you can ask a question like, why do I get angry? Oftentimes when people get angry, it's because they have a list, a rule book that somebody somebody is violating, or something like that. So you get angry or annoyed or something, and so you ask, but why is that there? Why is this rule book here? And so you just keep asking, why is this rule book here, or what other rules do I have in this rule book that could be, like, limiting my growth? What are the implications of this? What are the implications of that? What are the implications of this? And this is how you can kind of like see through your through your structure, so to speak. You can kind of find things that you wouldn't expect to find by doing this. I've done this unconsciously for a while now, for a month or two, for a couple months, and not really realizing it. But when I started to do it consciously, the other day, over the past day alone, actually, I've gotten more answers and more information about things than I have gotten in a typical day. Of course, I do this for a while too, to be honest. So how long do you do this for, right? You can do this for about 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or whatever, however long you really want to do it. I do it for like however long feels comfortable. Just do it for however long feels comfortable. And the thing about this is that when you get like an answer, that answer is going to be very simple, and it's not even going to cover the whole thing that's involved here. All of the aspects of this thing that you're talking about, you're asking about. Um, so a good example of this is actually I'm planning on making a video eventually about the dangers of oversimplification and how this can control, how this messes with your life, and how this affects things in politics and other things like this. And I've talked about this in very general terms before, but what this does when you start asking more questions about this, like, you start getting more, you start getting more specific. Um, so, I mean, I don't really want to give too much away right now, but because I don't know exactly what I'm going to make when I'm going to make the video, or what it's going to be about, or how it's going to be. But for instance, it starts off with a question like, how does oversimplification happen? Well, it happens because of emotion. Well, why does that happen? Well, it happens because you have a certain bias or preference or whatever, and that preference, when something doesn't agree with that preference or violates it, you're going to get emotional about it. You're going to get angry or whatever. And so you're not going to think straight, and you're going to oversimplify. But I'm like, well, why that can't be? That's too simple, right? Because a lot of the times when you first start, your answer is going to be very like simple. You may think you figured out the answer by doing this at first, but the more you start digging into it, the more you get the more in depth and the more specific it becomes. So now, instead of biases and things like that, there's a lot more that's involved. And I could go into that right now, but let's just not do that right now, because it's going to be another video, and it's not completely formulated yet. So this is just a way to flush out a lot of the insights that you might get. So you might get like an insight like I've gotten before, like your ego is a programming that helps you survive. So, I mean, that sounds like it's a very wise answer, but that doesn't really tell you a whole lot, does it? It doesn't really give you anything. That's why I'm trying to give you more examples. Like I'm like the podcast I made today, and the podcast I made the other day about the shadow. These are just ways in which the ego fulfills this need for desire, or whatever, need for survival. This desire versus for survival, and so it changes these things up. So you just get more specific with it as you go along, and so you can start to see more of this happening in your life. Start seeing more of a pattern of this thing. Of this type of thing happening in your mind, or whatever it might be. So this is a powerful kind of way of seeing things. So anyways, this is the Wisdom Matrix. If you like this video, please like it. I mean, there's other things that I could add to this, but I'll just leave it there for now. If you like it, please like it. Share it with other people if you get some kind of benefit from it. And if you want to see more videos from me in the future, go ahead and subscribe. This is the Wisdom Matrix, and I'll see you in the next video. Yeah. Oh, I accidentally. Anyways, this is the Wisdom Matrix. I'll see you in the next video.